Mr.
I'm the king of dreams.
Make her the cutest that I've ever seen. Give her the word that I'm not a rover, and tell her that her lonely nights are over. Ooh, Sandman, I'm so alone. Don't have nobody to call my own. So please turn on your magic beam, Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Next Issue Podcast. A very good shout out to Allura Edits for that video. I saw it this week and I was like, oh, I gotta use this for the intro.
That looked awesome.
Yeah,
that did look
great.
awesome.
That's great.
I did watch it, the first
Awesome.
episode.
Me too.
Great.
Me too.
Great. I'm so glad because we definitely have to get to it eventually.
Yeah.
So it's been a little while since we've all been doing this stuff live because life and Negative Zone
Yeah.
and other commitments and stuff. But we are back. And I do want to start with something that before we get into it, this is just going to be kind of a free form show. So feel free to drop some comments in the chat about stuff you're watching, listening to, reading, playing, whatever. But I wanted to start with a few weeks ago after Comic-Con, we did a reaction video for The Sandman. As a group, as you can see here, we're all very excited for the trailer. Also,
I'm making the same post.
yeah, thanks to everyone. This video is like over 1,300 views, which is one of our most watched, like in a very small amount of time. So we appreciate that. But we heard you. We saw the comments. We saw that we are not all knowing. So I want to start with a small corrections and omissions segment from the comments of our Sandman video. And there's nothing. No one's being mean or bad spirited about it. They just really feel like they just wanted to let us know, like, hey, this is, hey, you dummies. That's not what it is. So. Let's take a look here real quick. We do have this. I gotta say, we don't normally get as many comments on this. So yeah, Professor Lupin plays Dr. Destiny, aka John D, who's a character from the. And then also I don't know. I don't think that we remembered Merv's name, Pumpkin Major.
Yeah.
Pumpkin, I think. So there we go. And then somebody let us know that Mark Hamill's voicing that character. So we've all seen different amounts of the show, up to either from one episode to maybe I might be the one that's the furthest ahead at 5.
I would think so.
We'll get into that in a minute. I did see this really cool comment from Elliot Siebert Sweeney. For the record, the idea behind Joanna is that Neil thought that it would be better for the outside audience to present Joanna Constantine and a past Joanna Constantine instead of a past Joanna Constantine and a modern John Constantine. So in the comics, the Sandman, I believe, meets Joanna Constantine, who is an ancestor to the current day Constantine that we all know and love. So there's basically 2 versions of Joanna rather than a gender swap version. But she does play pretty much the same role as where we know John Constantine from the comics.
Now the one thing I want to say is I've read tweets that it is Constantine.
Oh yeah, that's how they say it. You're right. I apologize for my stupid American accent.
Man, do you know how often I heard that when I was traveling in Europe this summer? But
it's going to be hard to remember Constantine.
People were just clowning on your accent.
Yeah. Like, nah, that's not how you say that, man. No, I'm kidding. Everyone was like beautiful and nice. So
yeah, and then we also have Trickster here elaborates a little bit. John is a difficult character to use right now since Matt Ryan's been playing him in so many different projects, both animated and live action. And then they were also working. I don't know if they're still working on this after this week's or this past few weeks news, but there was a J.J. Abrams working project for the Constantine character for HBO Max. Who knows if that'll ever come to fruition now?
No.
Um,
No. Yeah, maybe someone will hear me, but J.J. Abrams needs to stop.
What is?
Hey!
Well, maybe I think it's just J.J. Abrams produced. I don't know that he's like
it's like Bad Robot as the
Yeah.
production company.
I mean,
I don't know. I mean, if he does do it, I for one want to see John Constantine with more lens flare. So that would be great.
He does great copies that are basically the same material someone else has done and never really, outdo the original.
What if he just calls it House of Mystery Box? No? All right.
That is good though. House of Mystery Box would be what he would call it.
Yeah. Then also mistakenly I called Volume 4 Season of the Witch, which is a song, and the volume is called Seasons of the Mist. That happens to me all the time.
Again, understandably. I mean,
I can make mistakes because I'm old as hell. So they're expecting more from you, Daniel, because you're the young kid in town.
Oh boy, I got the Google machine. And then also somebody said, Flickerio, Emma Thompson, Mason Alexander Park, same. I think we were talking about Desire at the time. Yeah. Really good. And then Corey also elaborates more on the Constantine thing that we talked about, and also Chiller. So, and I've seen the show that Constantine is great in it. So I'm glad. I mean, whatever choice they made, it was the right one. So there we go. If you guys blow up our videos and leave a bunch of comments, we'll probably talk about them on air. So
I definitely am on board after the first episode because there were so many moments that were lifted straight from the book that any changes that they want to make, I'm fine with, because right now I feel like I'm just like watching the pages turn on screen.
So you guys have both only seen the first episode,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're doing a slow watch.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and I'm trying to watch it with my daughter as well because she's never read the comic, so I want her to experience it.
What did she think after the first one, like not knowing anything about the character?
She liked it. She, it was real funny. I thought she would, at the end of it, they give you this season on Sandman, and you get like another trailer, essentially. So they show Constantine in that trailer, and I kept waiting for her to geek out because we're big Doctor Who fans. We just watched Clara, and she didn't realize it was her. So afterwards, I'm like, that's Clara, right? And she's like, oh my God, no. But no, she really dug it, and I did have to tell her because they do a really good job with the Corinthian. You get that one shot of him without his sunglasses on, and it's kind of hard to see what's happening. Yeah. So I'm like freaking out, and she's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "Do you see what his eyes are?" And she's like, "No." I'm like, "They're mouths." And she's like, and I'm like, "I think it's gonna get creepier." And she's like, "That's okay." So
they're mouths with a full set of teeth. Like for some reason, it's the teeth.
Yeah. But I do like, I agree with Clay, like seeing the stuff that I know from the comic appearing on screen was great. I really liked the adjustments to the structure a bit because it seemed to tie a lot more of it together. I don't think, I could be wrong, someone correct me, I don't think in the original comic he's left the dream realm to track down Corinthian when he gets captured, right? I think he's just captured. Am I wrong about that?
Okay. I thought that they had added some extra context for the capture.
Yeah.
So because that's the pages I remember the overhead shot of him.
Yep.
In the circle.
Which that's beautiful.
And then the shot of him kind of going into the light and being pulled out. I was like, wow, those are just like page for page shots.
Yeah.
That makes sense for a TV audience where like you have to kind of give them an antagonist immediately almost, right?
Yeah.
In the comics, I feel like there was a lot more freedom. Also, fun fact that probably you guys already knew, maybe not. And it was kind of a roundabout way that I came to this. So I was on TikTok and I saw a conversation between Neil Gaiman and they didn't do it on TikTok. Somebody just reposted it there, but it was Neil Gaiman talking to George R. R. Martin, thanking him for Sandman. So
Yeah.
a few weeks ago, Marvel released a comic called Wild Cards, which is an adaptation of George R. R. Martin's anthology series of his take on, well, his and other creators' take on superheroes that kind of they put together in a book. And Neil pitched Sandman to George R. R. Martin to be included in Wild Cards. And he turned it down.
Yeah.
And then after that, he ended, it all ended up going on Vertigo and stuff. So Neil every time that, he goes back and thinks about it, he thanks George R. R. Martin for the success of Sandman, because I don't know that it would have been the same in, in written, like, without the visual of the comic book storytelling.
Yeah. Or even like, I haven't read the Wildcard series, but do the character stories continue over each volume? Because if not, is he cramming all that into one short story, which he needs the space of 100 issues or however many? It was like,
some of them do continue stories because they're all.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Yeah, I remember reading it back in the day, but it was like you would have these kind of like, here's a hero and here's his story, and then maybe later he would appear like with another character. But it was a very, like, he painted a very different world than like Marvel and DC with his heroes.
Yeah.
So it was very. I mean, I would love to see someone try to bring that to screen, because it would just not be a superhero movie. It would just have superheroes in it.
I would say, because I said I didn't know anything about that until I read that comic. Maybe check out the comic to see if it's your cup of tea, and then maybe if you want to go follow that to the books, you probably can. Also want to address Leonard Kim in the chat. Conceptually, I enjoyed the Sandman, and I really want a season 2. It was hard to keep up at times, though.
But did he binge, or did he just watch like one episode?
I'm gonna say just Leonard is always very active watching TV. I'm gonna think that a lot of the stuff, like, pretty quickly watched it through. That's why I'm watching like one every few days, which is why I'm only at 5 after a couple of weeks of it being out. I gotta say, every episode gets better. Like, than I get to the end of one, and I'm like, oh, that was really good. And then I finish the other one, and I'm like, oh my god, that was even better. So far that trend hasn't stopped at episode 5. And because I haven't read the books in so long, and I haven't read all the volumes, I don't really know like how far we are in the run or anything. I think if we get to, I don't think we'll get as far as Seasons of the Mist. I think that's something they would leave for season 2. But I don't know how much they compressed into these 10 episodes.
I mean, just from the, like, what I know about like the cast and the trailer they showed at the end, it seems to be mainly the first 2 volumes, right? So it's Dream Country and the first volume.
Because I think the third volume has the third volume is a collection of kind of like loose. Like
it's like kind of one shots, right?
Yeah. So let's go spoilers a little bit into the first episode. So spoilers for the Sandman, only the first episode. I'll we'll talk about the rest of it once we're all finished with it. We'll probably have a full Sandman episode in the future.
Oh yeah.
But real quick, the premise. What's the name of the family? Like this family
the Endless.
No. Sorry, this family of wizards on Earth. Like they're trying to capture Death. To bring back this dude's trying to bring back his son, and he convinces all these other powerful people, like, if we capture Death, we can have her do our bidding or whatever, give us back all the people she's taken. They mistakenly trap Dream, who is the king of Dreamland. What's it called?
The Dreaming.
The Dreaming. Thank you, Dreamland. That's Kirby's. I gotta say that opening shot of the Dreaming. It's very colorful, kind of like what we have in the background today.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Like just going in all the way to the castle and then coming in, seeing all the characters.
I was a little put off by that at first, but I realized at the end why they had to show that, because they had to have the contrast, right?
Yeah.
But at first it's like I don't remember the dreaming looking like this from the comic, right? It felt much more like fantastical. But anyway, sorry, go on.
Yeah, Leonard finished just Friday night. Okay.
Finished it Friday night.
Okay. Yeah, so then that's kind of happens, and then because Dream has his sand, his helm, and his helm looks so cool in live action.
It does. Even him trying to like take it off after he captures them, and just like it was amazing. Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, and his ruby are the sources of his power, and so he gets that taken away from him. He gets captured. 100 years pass, and then at the end, there's a whole lot that happens in between. But at the end of the episode, when he finally is free, and then kind of like you guys mentioned, the reason he was in our realm was to bring back one of his nightmares, the Corinthian. Which, what a cool concept that he just creates dreams, whether they become nightmares or not. Like, he doesn't have a lot of insight into what they end up becoming, but like he just creates dreams, right? And now the Corinthian kind of wants to do his own thing. He escapes to our realm where he has his own powers and stuff. So, and then he gets free at the end, and then comes back to the dreaming. A lot of his dreams have left, and it's pretty much been kind of destroyed by time, because it was about 100 years that he was gone. But man, I love what's the name of his assistant?
Lucian.
Yeah, really cool.
Really great.
Just the ears, like the little touches of the character from the book. I love it.
Yeah. All of the casting so far, and I'm really excited to see Death too. All of the casting has been great, and I want to make a confession, and the confession is this, and I've been sitting on this until I watched the series. I was not sold on the main actor as Dream.
Tom Sturridge?
He looked so pretty and young, and hearing his voiceover is what sold me on it, because I knew that would be the hardest thing to do, would be the voice, right? How do you make Dream sound? So he sounds otherworldly and stoic and kind of cold and aloof. Dude nails it. Absolutely nails it. Yeah. And then there was a few shots of him in like the glass, container, the cage. And at one point I turned to my daughter and I said, they're doing an amazing job making him look pale. Like, it comes up in the comic, but when you think of live action, I just figured they wouldn't care about it, right? But no, that dude is skinny and pale. I mean, and I'm sure they did something with CGI or lighting or whatever, but he's perfect. Like, I was so impressed with him as Dream. He's so good.
All they needed to show was him just brooding in that bubble of glass, and that paid off, because it looked like the character right out of the books, and the voice was just perfect.
There's what sorry, go ahead.
I do want to tell you the funniest thing I've heard is Shelby works with I'm gonna call them a bunch of kids. They're in their 20s who have watched Sandman, and they believe the inspiration for Sandman is Twilight. They go,
oh God, don't do this to me.
Right out of Twilight, and we're just like, this book was written way before that turd novel, and so she just has to shake her head, because they're obsessed with the idea that this main character is based on Twilight's vampires, and I'm like,
oh my God, my God. Well, and that's one change they made that, in watching it, I realized they had to make, because for some reason, like, cemented in my brain was the fact that in the original issue, he's trapped for 60 years, right? Well, you can't do that and keep the time frame where it begins during World War I. That's when their sons die. So now it's 100 years, which kind of works out a little better, in terms of just a nice round time. But
but is there anything from the first episode that you guys were like, I don't know, really enjoyed, or maybe some things that you didn't like as much?
I don't know. I mean, the story played out so well. The visuals, the production work on the building, and even just the glass case he had to sit in was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to let it stand on its own, but I also want to refer to the original material, and everything's just good so far. I mean, there's no complaints from the first episode at all.
I mean, it almost feels like it feels like this was just a storyboard for it.
Right. Which again, I get a little nervous about, right? You guys know me. I'm the type, if you're just going to recreate the comic page for page, cough Zack Snyder, just go read the comic. But I think the thing is that Gaiman is clearly adapting this for a TV series, and he has so much experience doing it now, right? With Good Omens, and that I can see where he's thinking about, we're transferring this story and these characters to a new medium, and that's okay. Even the little moments that were homages to the original art, like him stuck in the circle, which, I mean, it looks like a Sam Keith drawing. It's beautiful, right? Those seem like nods, we're literally recreating the comic.
Yeah.
You know? So, and I'm just glad he waited this long. Because, I mean, I remember back in the 90s when it was at its peak, there were constant rumors there's going to be a Sandman movie. There's going to be a Sandman movie. This should not be a movie, right? It needs to be a series. It needs that space. It needs that breath.
At one point, there was going to be a movie, and Sandman was going to be played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all remember that casting?
I do remember that, and that's not bad casting, honestly. That dude can
he's a great actor, but after seeing this guy, dude,
I do like that. Well, it's funny that obviously in the comics we also have references to Wesley Dodds, who's the Sandman. He's affected by Dream not being around, like the rest of the people. Obviously, that's not something they bring up in the series because
I will be a bit bummed if he doesn't show up, or the 1970 Sandman, who I think shows up in, is it issue 3? It's like issue 3 or 4, as he's regathering all the items that he needs. One of the items is owned and corrupted by one of the other Sandmen from the 1970s. Yeah.
So you could just really follow along with the book.
Yeah, you really can.
I love this because it was very much in the sequence in the show when he finally gets inside of, like, he gets one of the guards to fall asleep, and they go to the beach, and like this whole sequence happens.
Yep.
Really, really cool stuff. This is all on DC Infinite, so if you have that service and you want to go read the comic, I recommend it. Also, DC has been reprinting the shit out of all these. Anything Sandman has been getting so many reprints right now. So make sure to go check that out. Check your local library. I'm sure they got some copies.
Oh, heck. I mean, in fact, and I said this to you during the comic book club when we met Thursday night, when I was at my friendly local comic book store, they had sitting just on the counter when you checked out reprints of issue 1 for free. DC just reprinted the first issue, which is brilliant because, like you're showing, Daniel, it tracks so closely with the first episode. So it's like, go read the inspiration for that episode and just keep watching and hopefully keep reading. So
it's so long. I didn't realize it was 41 pages for the first issue.
I didn't realize that either.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Interesting.
Cool. Well, so there's the Sandman coverage for now. Like I said, we'll keep talking about it. We'll probably revisit this once we're all finished. The only thing I'll say about one of the episodes farther ahead is that Gwendolyn Christie is an amazing casting for Lucifer. So I can't wait to see the rest of the, as more of the characters from the comic show up. It'll be cool to kind of compare and probably go back, and I think I'm probably going to reread the first few volumes after the series, after I watch the full series. I think that would be kind of neat, and if I have time, then maybe I'll make a video about it. So
sounds good. I'll say as well, there are moments in the first issue of the comic that Gaiman, I think, smartly took out.
Yeah.
So for instance, one of the sleepers has something just really awful happen to her when she's sleeping, and he took that out, and I was really glad. So
Yeah, I think they've done a very smart job in changing some things. They know that this is a comic that came out a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
So it's good to refocus it and maybe recalibrate it for today's audience. Leonard
Yep.
Kim in the chat. I love Tom Ellis, but Wendell and Christie was a fantastic cast. And Lucifer, yeah, really. I mean, I love Tom Ellis too. I love that Lucifer as well. I think they both bring different. They're Lucifers from different volumes of the comics. Like
Right.
Tom Ellis as his Lucifer is from way forward in the future, where he's a different character. He has different motivations of what he's doing, what he's doing. So yeah. So I think they're both great. I would love to for them to maybe meet at some point somewhere for some reason. But yeah, we'll keep you appraised. Um, all right. Well, now that we are done with that, I do want to touch on real quick another one of the big things that we finally all seen, and we'll have a full episode about Thor: Love and Thunder. But Josh just watched it recently. Clay watched it in between last time I think we did live and this time.
Yep.
And then I've seen it before. I can't wait. It should be coming to Disney Plus by the end of the month, maybe.
That makes sense.
If they keep to their schedule that they've been doing. But just real briefly, no spoilers or anything. What did you guys think about Thor: Love and Thunder?
Loved it.
Same. I loved it.
I mean, you could enjoy Jason Aaron's run and watch this and get two different stories that are equally as great.
Yeah.
I personally would love to have seen Christian Bale as a big bad, like maybe in 2 movies, because I think Gore is a great character and he does it so well.
Yeah.
I know they kind of veered away from the look, but I kind of wish. I know there's some pre-production art that showed him from the original comics with the tentacles and everything and the fangs, but they just said it looked too much like Voldemort.
Right.
I mean, that just sucks because I just think that seeing Christian Bale kind of like when he's like messing with Thor, like just sitting in the makeup, he just I think he would have been chilling. I think they missed a great opportunity for that, but he's still a great actor, so you just kind of are mesmerized by his words and actions.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I agree also with Leonard. That was the first thing I said. I do not get the hate for Love and Thunder. It does this, I think, really difficult thing that Taika's really good at doing, which is combining fun and humor with very heartfelt and very touching moments. I mean, the end of that just hits you like a punch in the gut. Again, no spoilers, but it's a great movie, and Christian Bale pulls off a bad guy who now is easily in the top 3 of big bads for the MCU. You know, it's still Killmonger at the top.
Yeah.
Thanos, Gore. I mean, it's really, really good. He has understandable-ish motivations.
I mean, the gods have forsaken him, and he just says no more. I mean, it's, I love it. I mean, just that idea that like, and in the book, he seems to draw it out more like no matter where he goes, he feels like he's forsaken. And so there's this little bit of a journey that he goes through that I feel like would have been great on screen. But again, both work great, and Taika does it so well that you just need what he gives you.
So here's a question for you guys, since you know much more recent superhero comics than I do. Is this the most recent Marvel run to be adapted into the MCU?
I think so.
I think it is now. Yeah, because this is from the past 10 within the past 10 years. This is
I was gonna say it's pretty recent, right? I mean, was this the start of Aaron's run on Thor? Or was this like in the middle?
Oh yeah, actually, his the Thor God of Thunder was the original, was the first thing that he started writing. Yep.
Okay.
So I will say, if you're not a fan of Taika's humor, I understand why you wouldn't like this movie, because this movie, it's even more than Ragnarok was. So if that's not your jam, then you're definitely not going to enjoy this as much. So I can see that. Leonard Kim says it's the MCU rom-com, even though you need it. I agree. I mean, that whole sequence of them remembering, like, when they flash back to their relationship.
Yeah.
Um, so, and then the last thing I want to touch on Love and Thunder is they released this concept art of the omnipotence.
Oh wow!
And
Look at
we
that,
have some
Galactus.
really cool stuff. We see a Galactus. We see somebody that looks like the Sidorak, the god that powers the gem that powers the Juggernaut. To me, this looks like it could be Hades or Ares at the top.
Ooh, yeah.
And then we have some more stuff that I won't get into just for spoilers. But
don't we also see Ares in Ragnarok as one of the faces on the building with Beta Ray Bill? Isn't Ares one there too?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I don't remember that. I mean, I remember the faces. I don't remember that if it was Ares or not.
Okay.
But it could be Hades just because his helmet is closed off. I think Hades wears that much more. But yeah, really cool concept art. Obviously, not everything came to pass, but just interesting of the ideas that they would initially play around with, right? I think the fact that Galactus's chair isn't as big as this guy's over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little.
God, I can't wait to see Galactus in the MCU.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be great.
And I do want to give a shout out because it seemed like, again, this isn't a spoiler because it's in the trailer, but it seemed like it was just thrown in for Taika to be Taika. Yeah. But Russell Crowe as Zeus is just, I know we're not supposed to like Russell Crowe anymore, but holy God, the guy is just, he is eating the scenery and having so much fun. It is great. He is wonderful. And then they're able to tie it in to a bigger MCU thing, which I thought was great. So, but it was so much fun. I loved it. Haters
to the left.
Haters to the left. There you go.
All right, cool.
Wait, that's right. Shit. There you go. That way.
Stage left. Let's get into what's going to be really the main of our show. Previously on next segment, where we're just going to kind of catch up. It's been a few weeks since we've all been together. There's been a lot of media released.
Oh, so much.
Specifically on like that one Friday in August, August 4th, I think. It's like everything came out that weekend. It almost feels like. So I'll kick things off because I do want to talk about something very. It's gonna be weird that I'm starting with this, but Well, I'm moving stuff around from the notes. Oh, okay. Yesterday I had a double feature because I was going to an event at night. So I had never seen An American Werewolf in London.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that was my first watch. Very famous John Landis film. Probably one of the best transformation scenes put in film.
The best werewolf movie, period.
Yeah, or even that was the movie because I saw it before I ever saw Evil Dead. That proved to me that horror could be grimly funny, and just his friend slowly decomposing every time he shows up. I remember as a kid laughing, thinking like, I shouldn't be laughing at this, but it's so funny, you know. So
yeah, Griffin Dunn with a giant head wound opening, carrying across his chest, and he's just chatting with him.
Yep.
Yeah, love it. It's
really, really interesting. I enjoyed the movie a lot. I can see why people keep talking about this movie all the time. One thing, I didn't really connect with the main guy, like the main character. I didn't connect with him a lot. So I feel like, I don't know. I feel like that took away from maybe a little bit of my enjoyment because I'm like, I'm supposed to be following this guy around, but he kind of keeps doing the wrong thing at every stop, right? Like him and his friend. I don't want to say it was their fault because the people at the bar definitely should have given him a heads up. Like, hey, just stay here for the night. Don't die out there because it's not like they benefited, right? It's not like they're supposed to like give a sacrifice to these werewolves or whatever the case. I almost would have liked it a little bit if they took some time to elaborate more on the pentagram and like. What is that like? Is that protection for the bar? Like even if they said it after they leave the bar, but they never come back to it.
Yeah, I don't think it's mainly about him. It's him living through being a werewolf.
Yeah. So and once we get to that part of the movie, it's great. I will say I don't know that that nurse should have let him just kind of move in. Uh, but
It was the 80s. That's just what happened in the 80s.
Yeah.
I guess so. But it is good commentary too on just like how good of healthcare they have in the UK because the dude was in the hospital for like weeks. Like it took almost a month because we got to the next one. So and I didn't
good point.
come to ask him about a bill or anything. It was just like, here you are, sir. What do you need? You need one of our nurses to kind of hang out with you for a while? Sure, I'll send her in.
Please tell me you at least watched like the making of his transformation scene and how they did it.
Yeah, no, I've seen. That scene. I've seen it on like video essays on YouTube and stuff like. But I didn't. But I had never seen the actual film. You'll be surprised what other film I had never seen.
You didn't have the context for it, so
yeah. But the reason I watched that movie is because I was going to the live taping of How Did This Get Made? It was at the Winspire Opera House here in Dallas. They're doing their tour. I love that podcast, and when I saw that they were on tour, I was gonna go regardless of whatever they were watching. But they were doing An American Werewolf in Paris, which is a movie that sucks.
Oh, it sucks
with shockingly a great cast. Like, how did that happen? I know. Yeah, it's like what?
So I will say it was a fun experience watching the movie because it was so bad. Like, just kind of like I was like, this is like a peak. It was a peak '90s movie with all the bad, but also some of the fun stuff that like. And that was all the music I grew up watching. Like all the needle drops really hit because that was all the music I was except the Smash Mouth song. That one is just fun to clown on.
Smash Mouth is in American Werewolf in Paris.
Yeah, I think so. They think they were talking about that yesterday a lot. So
you show me a movie from the 90s that does not have Smash Mouth in it, and I will show you a movie that does not exist. So
yeah. So, but you're right. The cast is super stacked. I mean, you have Tom Everett Scott, Julie Duffy, and then we have Julie Bowen shows up as this like unhinged character that I like her more after she dies. Spoilers for this movie, I guess.
No, don't watch this movie. Terrible.
Yeah, please don't. Go read a synopsis.
If you have a bunch of friends and just want to put something bad on and clown on it, this is perfect for that. And that's the reason we were doing it, right, for the podcast. But I didn't want to go in with no context of what they were talking about. I normally don't go back and rewatch the movies that they're going to talk about, but since this one was live,
talk about the CGI in it.
It's so bad. How can a movie that was made 13 years later than the original be worse at what the first movie did the best? I don't know.
Rick Baker worked on the original, and they used computers on the second one.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Practical effects, kids. They work.
The wolves look bad. The whole concept of these dudes are trying to bungee jump off the Eiffel Tower, which makes no sense because you would just hit the lower level.
It's shaped like this. Where are you going to hit? I mean, it's not as straight up and down.
And there's a CGI shot where it goes down and the camera is the POV of it looking at, and it's so bad. Like, I just remember that shot and I was like, they spent money and sold this to us as if it was going to be good.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's dumb. Like I said, if you're going to watch it for the podcast, it'll be okay, so you can get more context of it. But the experience itself, it was nice. They requested that you wear a mask, so like there was, I would say about half the people were wearing masks, which was okay. I was in a section that was not too crowded because I didn't want to sit all the way at the front because I knew that was going to be the hot zone for just a lot of people. I will say I like the Winespire Opera House. Like, it's really nice. It's really funny because like some people really dressed up because they were going to the opera house, and then some other people realized I'm just going to see the How Did This Get Made podcast. I'm gonna wear my shorts and tennis shoes, right? So yeah, it's really interesting. Even they were surprised at how nice of a venue they had booked for the show. Because if you've been to the opera house, they have like this whole chandelier thing that goes up and down, and there's like balcony. I mean, it's an opera house.
It's nice.
So yeah, that was really fun. If you follow me on social media, I posted some pictures and stuff. So I can't wait for the episode to come out, because I think if you enjoyed that podcast, you'll enjoy. It was. They said it was one of their longest episodes they've done. Obviously, they cut stuff out that never makes it into the thing. So, but we'll see. So we do have a quick question in the chat from Man Cave Theater. What is everyone's reaction to Last Night in Soho? I haven't watched
not
that movie.
seen it.
I haven't seen it yet either.
Sorry, Man Cave. Maybe we'll put it on the list and talk about it in the next few episodes. But I know it's on HBO Max. It's been on Hulu as well for a while.
Yeah.
I want to watch it because I love Edgar Wright. I heard mixed reactions.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, Anya Taylor-Joy. I heard mixed reactions from it, which is what kind of like led me to not have to watch it right away. But I'm sure it'll, we'll get to it eventually for sure. So I'm going to pass it on to Clay, and we'll just kind of go around the horn talking about things.
Okay. I will jump to another movie that is just incredibly terrible. And so if you have a bunch of friends that want to watch, it's free on YouTube. It's called Hamburger the Movie. For my other podcast with Mark for Unsocial Spectators, we're doing 1986. So while looking for 1986 movies, I found this gem on YouTube. The link is in the show notes, but you can find it pretty easily. But this was I don't know why it was created, but essentially back in the 80s, everyone kind of was still doing these kind of weird sex comedies. And so McDonald's University was this big story about how if you worked at McDonald's, you would go to McDonald's University. And if you bought a franchise, you would go there and they would train you on the way to make burgers at McDonald's. And so this is a story about a group of misfits who go to, it's Police Academy. It's all those kind of bad movies. And it's so bad. I mean, I just can't tell you how bad it is. It's just terrible. It has the worst soundtrack, has the worst actors. The plot is the guy's like in his 30s. He has to graduate to get an inheritance, which was the plot of a lot of 80s movies. Like, apparently I thought I was going to get old and have to like go do things to get an inheritance. And it's hilarious because it's so bad. But I really recommend it for a group of people. If you love to riff and joke on things, this is a prime trash film. And I enjoyed the heck out of it because it was so bad.
Nice. Real quick, my buddy Carlos in the chat. Watch Day Shift on Netflix. Jamie Foxx is a vampire hunter.
I'm looking forward to that.
He saw it last night. It is exactly what it looked like. That's all you can ask for with these movies for Netflix. Like, just give me what you promised me in the trailer, and then we'll be all right.
Someone said that Netflix is doing it right because they're doing B movies with A actors.
I was going to say, you put Jamie Foxx in anything, I'll go see it. Even that movie where he's like a fighter pilot, I don't care about fighter pilots. I like Jamie Foxx. I'll go watch him do it, So
with the plane that flies itself?
I believe so. It's basically Firefox like remade, right? So
Hell yeah. What else?
I'll pitch one other one that I watched on YouTube because I loved this movie as a kid. As a kid, I was a skateboarder, and Thrashing is in 9 parts on YouTube, starring Thanos himself, Josh Brolin, as one of his first roles. And there's another star in it is Sherilyn Fenn, pre-Twin Peaks.
Oh my
Sherilyn
God,
Fenn.
really? I did not know that.
Yeah, so what I read about this was fascinating because Josh Brolin actually turned down the role of Tom. Is it Tom Holland in 21 Jump Street? Is that Johnny Depp's character's name?
I don't remember.
That's like a 30-year-old memory I'm pulling. But Josh Brolin was going to be the star of 21 Jump Street, turned it down. Sherilyn Fenn was hired to be in Thrashing with Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp was going to play the lead role, but the producers would not approve him. So they replaced him with Josh Brolin. And it just has it has montages. It has bad 80s music. It has bad 80s romance music as they make out to. It has plot holes everywhere. The first appearance of the Red Hot Chili Peppers performing in they're a band in it. It has Devos on the soundtrack. I mean, the music is fantastic, but some of the music they use in the movie for it are really bad. There's a thrashing theme song by Meatloaf that is only available in the movie. They never released it anywhere else. But I loved skateboarding, and this was my skateboarding motivation. I would go to my buddy's house. We would watch Thrashing, and we would watch Rad, and then we would go out and ride our boards. And it was so great to watch this again because I just loved the hell out of it, and I was so glad to find it on YouTube that Shelby's going to go find a Blu-ray for me.
Nice.
Very cool.
How have we never talked before about the fact we were both skateboarders? So.
Because I'm old and decrepit, and I don't even think about trying to ride a skateboard anymore unless it has a chair.
I tried 8 years ago. It did not go well. Let me tell you.
I miss it. I watched that whole movie, and I was like, I want to get a board. I could do it. I can ride again.
Yeah.
Blaming the cube.
It was funny. That was when Clay posted this to our Discord, my very first reaction was, are you going to watch Gleaming the Cube next? Which, if you don't know, young Christian Slater, skateboarder, solves murder mystery. So.
Man Cave Theater posted this comment, and I was like, oh, this one's not for me. This one's for y'all.
You are correct.
I don't know what the hell G the Cube is. Cool. Very, very rad, Clay, I'll say. All I can think about is that those movies for you guys were probably Breakin' and stuff were to the people that would break dance and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. It was just
1984 was the year of Breakin', 2, and Beat Street. So all three movies came out in the same year.
Clay would go to his friend's house, watch Trashin', and then go skateboard. Some people would go watch Breakin' and then pull out the cardboard, drop it on the floor.
Yep.
Cool. All right, Josh, let's talk about a few things you
yeah, sure. I will keep the bad movie train going. I've just been watching kind of weird random. I've been in a 70s mood lately. I don't know why. So for instance, when I'm home alone, I'll just watch crappy movies because I know my family's here to mock me. No. So I finally watched the second of the two Kolchak made-for-TV movies, written by Richard Matheson, famous for
Last Man on Earth. Twilight Zone.
Yeah, or the original. What's the novel that's based on? Last Man on Earth. It's
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend. Thank you. The first Kolchak movie, which is The Night Stalker, I think, is really good. Really, really, really good. It's very slow paced, but good. The second one, it's very clear, still by the same team, but it's very clear that they're picking up the pace or adding a little bit more humor into it. It's called The Night Strangler. And it's okay. It's not as good, but they're clearly setting up what would then become Kolchak the Night Stalker TV show. So I watched that. Vampires in Vegas. Well, that's the first one. The second one's in Seattle, of all places. So,
hey, Twilight showed us that's a better place for vampires.
Oh, God
Twilight
damn you.
Showed us nothing.
You kids in your Twilight. But the other 1970s movie I watched, I actually, because it just got remastered on Blu-ray, and I ordered it, and then I threw it up on my Plex and told the guys it's there if they want to watch it, was the 1978 Doctor Strange made-for-TV movie, starring some guy with a porn star mustache and Jessica Walters, who kills in it. She is great. She's really good.
Peter kids. She played
Peter Hooge.
Peter Hooten.
Yeah, she's from Arrested Development and played Lucille Bluth. Lucille 1.
Yep. Lucille 1. She also plays Archer's mom in Archer. But she's amazing. And I will say this for that movie. Until they get to the stuff that has to require special effects, it's really good. It's not bad at all. The pacing is great. The acting is great. Even the main guy is great. I mean, they because they always did in the 1970s. I don't know why Marvel did this. They change his origin. Of course, he's not. He's a psychologist. He's like a social worker, kind of. And he never hurts his hands. He's not a surgeon. It's a weird kind of whole sort of backstory thing. But the cast is fantastic, and there's some stuff in there I really love. Like, for instance, damn it, Clay, help me! I'm totally blanking on names. Who's his assistant?
Oh,
Wong, right?
Yeah,
Wong. The actor playing Wong is Asian, but what's great is they don't use any of the stereotypes. And there's one moment that I really loved in it, which is you have to basically watch the whole movie to see Stephen Strange become Doctor Strange. Like, he's not. There's another older guy who's like the
Sorcerer.
The Sorcerer Supreme. Yeah, thanks. And his assistant is Wong. And there's one moment where he's like, he gets up and the old guy, and he comes downstairs, and Wong has made him breakfast. And he's like, Wong, what are you doing? He's like, I made you breakfast. Eat. He's like, Wong, you are my friend and you are my colleague. You are not my butler. And he's like, whatever, I made you breakfast, eat it, right? So there's these like little moments that I thought for the 70s were very clearly thinking about we've got to walk this path carefully, right? We don't want any sort of, old-fashioned stereotypes or anything. And the actor playing him is great as well. I mean, the whole cast is really good. It just, when you get to the moment where he enters the astral plane for the first time, they basically rip off every opening to Doctor Who. It is the same exact shot. It is like the time tunnel, right? And then you just see Doctor Strange like flipping around in it like this. I mean, it gets the special effects are bad, but they make a very, very concerted effort to make a good movie. It's not terrible. So if you're like, I just want to go see, and even I was reading that when this got made, Stan Lee felt like it was the best portrayal of a Marvel property on the screen. And unfortunately, what happened was the network put it up against Roots, which if you know anything about Roots, when they adapted Alex Haley's novel about the history of slavery in the U.S., it was a phenomenon in the U.S. when it aired. And so it was like, there was no way people were going to watch Doctor Strange when Roots is on at the same time. So
yeah, that was so big. I mean, we don't have TV moments like we did back then, and Roots.
No, not at all. Yeah.
But that picture of young Jessica Walters.
Yeah, Morgan Le Fay, like, she looked great.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I love the choice to give Doctor Strange a perm.
Yeah.
Seriously, there are moments in it where he's just walking around and I'm like, I am just waiting for the clothes to come off. This is a porn movie from the 70s. I don't know what is happening right now.
Maybe we will at some point revisit the, when Daredevil meets the Hulk. When Thor has I think Thor and the Hulk also do something together.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I just rewatched. It was streaming on one of the free streaming channels, and I just threw it on in the background. I was doing laundry.
I'm sure I would love to revisit some of the old Spider-Man flicks.
Those are really hard to find. I really wouldn't mind rewatching those.
There are some available on YouTube.
Are there? Okay.
Yeah, cool. Because I was able to find some of them because I started to put a playlist together of them.
Nice. All right. Cool. Yeah, I'll have to track those down.
Since you're talking about Doctor Strange, I will pitch that Dr. Mordred is a movie on Mystery Science Theater that was originally supposed to be a Doctor Strange movie. But Jeffrey Combs plays him. It's pretty great, but they do a great riff on it. So check out Dr. Mordred as well.
It's funny, when I learned that fact, I also tried watching Dr. Mordred, and I would make the argument the 78 Doctor Strange movie is better. So
I just like Jeffrey Combs, so it's like
that's fine. That's fine.
I'm all in.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna take the lead again. We'll come back to you guys in a second again. And hop in if you with any of this stuff. So the movie Prey recently released on Hulu. This is
I want to watch it.
The latest installment on the Predator franchise. So as we were leading up to it, I realized that I don't think I've seen many of the Predator movies.
So I've seen them all, and I
went ahead and did. I went ahead and did that. So I watched the first Predator movie from '87, I think. Great, yeah. It's a banger.
That's right.
It reminds me why Arnie was a fucking rock star, like with action movies. Like, it's just really good. He's so good.
Now, when you watched the original Predator, did you go, "Oh, that's where that meme is from"? Oh, that's where that meme is from.
I knew where the meme was from, but watching the whole scene play out, it's really cool. Like when they finally embrace the arms.
Get to the chopper.
That's right. Yeah, that I didn't know that was where it was from. That was really cool. The movie's great. The whole concept of it is cool. Like, I love seeing once Arnold's like when he's hunting the Predator, like, it's just so cool.
Yeah.
And
but you love seeing those big fucking dudes get dropped by a Predator. I mean, Jesse Ventura is like carrying around like a 50 caliber gun, being a badass, and then you're like, the Predator's just like, you're done.
There's 2 former governors in that film. One from California, one from Minnesota. Correct.
Great observation.
Wow, way to bring it home. I will say, if you want the first Predator or the whole franchise ruined for you, go look up the behind the scenes footage of the original Predator design.
Oh yeah,
it's bad. It's like an orange walking duck thing. I'm gonna find a photo.
Oh, I want to see a photo because I don't think I've
oh, really? Hang on.
Yeah, because as you bring that up, I was like, wait a minute, because I know when that.
Oh my God! Look at this! Okay, hang on. Let me share my screen. All right, it's not orange, but it's like, I think they had the costume orange for when it goes. Anyway,
invisible.
Let me share my screen.
I think I did see Man Cave Theater points out Van Damme was supposed to be the Predator, but I think he wasn't big enough.
Right.
Which, I mean, I think Van Damme I would rather see him just as the. Oh,
he's right.
And that's the helmet. The helmet can offer is that head.
I think that's its head. And then when you see it moving, it's just ridiculous. Because, like, the design of it is basically the actor's head would be, like, right down here. Like, in its chest, right? That's how tall it was. It's bad. It's really bad. Let me see if I can find footage of it.
I didn't dislike it. I think it looks cool. I don't know that it's a Predator, but it's cool design. But
it's the move.
Yeah.
It's the movement here. Let me...
Yeah, because the original Predator design is pretty awesome. The helmet, and the mouth, and just all the gear.
Danny, I posted a link to a video in the private chat,
right,
so if you want to show it. This is the
Bing.com? You want me to click on a Bing.com? Hold on. Time out.
This is the perfect excerpt. Just Danny going Bing.com.
Josh, give me a second. We have to talk about this. Do you use Bing normally as your search engine?
All right. I just switched to it, and I'll tell you the reason why is because you get reward points, and I can apply those to my Xbox account to get Xbox credit to buy games.
That's how you get us, Bing. But
that's it. See,
I'm gonna need more.
Okay, I guess I'll allow it. Okay, so here's some footage. Sorry for the audio listeners. Some quick footage of the Predator walking around. So it's that duck design. Yeah. Okay. I think because they threw the orange.
There's got to be. Oh, come on! Show the actual footage of it moving.
No, they tricked you. Just pictures.
Did they? Crap.
It's bad.
You got to see it moving. It's like lumbering along, and the top kind of shakes because again, it's top heavy, right? So the actor's head is kind of in its chest cavity.
Maybe you should use Google.
You know what? They should sell it to the Washington Redskins and make it their new mascot.
That would be good.
It's just the Washington football team, sir.
All right,
Well,
hang on.
yeah,
I will find this. I'll go to your precious Google. Hang on.
whatever they're called, your precious Google. I go to
Don't make
your
me
precious
invest in Google.
default search engine.
Don't make me invest in Google.
Well, hold on. Now, first one and second one, how did you feel about those?
Okay, so yeah, so this was a ride because the second movie, I'm sorry if anybody loves it in the chat, it's trash.
Yeah,
I hated it.
It is
not good.
But I love the lead. I love Danny.
Danny Glover gave me. So the problem is that now every time I see Danny Glover, I get the whole like I feel like he's just playing his character from Lethal Weapon where he doesn't want to be there doing that shit. Like
he's too old for this shit.
And then Gary Busey showed up, and I was like, no.
Oh man, Gary Busey always makes the film worse, and I'm always in for it, man. That Point Break, he's playing the same guy. He's like this intense, over the top dude.
Yeah, so I did like Paxton, Bill Paxton. Yes,
Bill Paxton wins this fucking movie.
Another kill. He's been killed by both an alien and a predator. That's fantastic. I love that.
And the Terminator.
The Terminator. So yeah, the trilogy I think of getting killed. So.
I still recommend it. I think that there's
I think you should watch
villains. The weird street villains of the Voodoo Gang is just really done poorly. The kills in that room are awesome.
And then also, you guys were around in the more aware in the early '90s. Like, was LA like super hot? Why is everyone sweating on every scene?
Okay. Here's my theory. If you want to hear it, go watch again a lot of films from the 70s, and there is this focus on realism, right? Yeah. So actors tended to look sweaty and their hair was messed up. It wasn't all super glamorous and finely tuned. And I think that stretched into the 80s, but as the action films in the 80s took off, they wanted to emphasize the action side of it. So it's just make everyone sweaty, right? Hey, Rambo, hang on, let's spray all this moisture on your chest before you shoot that gun.
And this is John McTiernan, so this is also the Die Hard director, so I will not fault him at all.
That makes sense for the subway or the streets or the jungle, but in the police station, why is everyone sweat? Also, why are there so many people at the police station?
Well, he also what's really weird is he uses everything to make it seem small. He shoots this like a TV movie.
Yeah.
He doesn't use big giant scenes except a few times, and that's in the voodoo kill scene. And but everything else is very tight and he's shooting a TV movie.
There were some cool kills. I also feel like they picked that specific gang because they also have dreadlocks, and I'm like, fuck off, dude.
Yeah.
What are you trying to confuse the police? But I want to read some comments real quick. So Chili Peen, imagine Predator versus the Thing combined fused with a xenomorph. That would be fucking insane. We need to take another shot at this Alien versus Predator thing.
Okay, but I will say you can put all the cool shit in it you want, but if you don't have the right director, it's going to turn out like Alien versus Predator, which was a shit fucking movie.
The second one's I need to rewatch them as part of this. I didn't rewatch those as part of this.
Oh, all right, because Requiem, loved it. The one with Lance Hendrickson, they go into the Antarctic.
Okay, maybe that's the good one then.
I
remember I like one of them.
The other one is Alien versus Predator, and again, shot like a shitty TV movie. They don't use any widescreen at all. They have one scene where the Predator comes into a kitchen where a woman just turns and he's right there, but Predators are 8 foot tall. And so they just use it to get the shot of him looking at her. And I'm like, that movie is if you watch all of them, skip Alien versus Predator because it really was just hard
I'm a completist. Trust me. Here, let me read some more comments. Gary Busey was supposed to be Arnold's character. That's fucking insane. What Dutch comes. I guess it would make sense that Dutch could eventually be part of this government agency focused on tracking and killing these things because he has killed one in the past. So that would, I can see the leap. Also,
who's the guy in the room that said, we can't get Arnold. What's Gary Busey doing?
Yeah. And then one more comment. I always admire scenes with tons of real extras, no camera tricks, chilling. I agree. I love when they add the realism to that. I just don't know why there were so. I mean, I've never been to LA, especially in the '90s. I don't know if everyone was just hanging out at the police station. Maybe they had a surplus of officers or interns or something. But that leads us to my rewatch of the 2010 Predators. I love that movie. It's one of my favorite. Robert Rodriguez directed that.
Oh, awesome!
It's so cool. Like if you're gonna go back and rewatch some of these, I think this was my favorite until I watched Prey. And then I also watched the 2018 The Predator. That movie sucks. Ass. It's probably worse than 2. I only watched.
I was really down on the Robert Rodriguez one until I rewatched it and loved it.
Dude, I'm telling you, it shows so many cool concepts of like, oh yeah, this is interesting. Like we could keep doing endless movies of this, of like the predators just taking their prey to a game reserve.
Yeah. You just have to buy into Adrian Brody as an action star.
Right.
That's really tough. But
that was tough because I had just seen The Pianist recently when I first watched that movie, and I was like, okay.
He's done it twice. He was also in Kong Skull Island, right?
No, that's Tom. Yes. That's Loki.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I think he's in the King Kong movie.
He might be in the King Kong movie.
Hang on, the Peter Jackson one.
Is he okay? I just knew he was in some
Grace
other.
Is pretty funny. I mean, Topher Grace has a great turn in this film. Marshala Ali, Walter Goggins, Danny Trejo. Like, I would watch this movie just because of these people. And then you add Alice Braga as this unknown, because this is like one of her early films where she's just like kicking ass.
And I don't know if you guys like. I love the Topher Grace reveal close to the end of the movie.
Yeah,
so fucking cool.
Yes.
Yeah. So Shane Black was in the first movie, and then he directed The Predator. First, I mean, I had never seen that movie because, obviously there was a lot of bad press before anything. Even before the movie even came out, there was some stuff with one of the actors in it. So I was kind of put off by that, anyways. I finally watched it because I wanted to watch everything. For this Predator movie, make a ranking, all that stuff. I'll say I watch it for work. But then we get to Prey. Prey's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
It's just such a good movie. It's so well done.
I need to watch it. It's on my list.
You do. It's just really good. Clay, you've seen it. Just what do you think?
What's cool is that you can watch it in the indigenous language.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And so but what's really cool is there are other languages in there that they don't bother to translate for you.
Yep.
So there's some. So you're watching it with the
Naru.
Yeah, with Naru, because you don't understand what they're saying. There's like one guy who can translate a little bit, but I love her story. I love seeing her interact with her tribe, and I saw someone tweet, and I can't remember who it was, that was kind of complaining about having this woman who had to prove herself. I think women who were in these tribes were never treated as warriors, or they were like, the people who stayed back at camp and all the men went and hunt. This woman had to prove herself. I mean, unless we're telling an original indigenous story by indigenous people that know the history and have that example to prove it to us. It was great to see someone who was doubted, who came back. I mean, like even the stuff with the animals in there was fantastic. I mean, I know it was CGI, but like I didn't care. Like it was just really good.
Yeah, really cool.
The bear scene was fantastic.
We have a question. Was it filmed twice? So originally the intent was to both shoot it in English and Comanche, but they ended up just doing a dub of the language. So it's a dub, like it'll just be like a dub of the Comanche language, but it is voiced by the actors that are in the movie because most of them are from indigenous backgrounds. So yeah, really cool stuff. I really liked it. I don't know why this movie wasn't in theaters. I think it would have been.
I know, right?
I'm glad I got to watch it at home like immediately.
Oh yeah, because I wouldn't have seen it in the theater. I wouldn't have been able to. But it made me rewatch all the Predator movies except Prometheus, which I think is the biggest pile of shit. Never watched that.
Wait, what? Oh, did you watch?
I thought
you say all the Alien movies.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I started to go into the Alien movies because when you finish the Predator movies, it goes into the Alien movies.
Oh, you just you just wanted to shit on Prometheus. Got it.
I'll always shit on Prometheus.
I was about to be like, wait, I thought Prometheus was an alien thing, not a Predator thing. And then my worlds were slamming together again.
It could be all connected if AVP's canon, right?
Well, in the chat, Chili Bean says his friend says, I'm assuming it's the Rodriguez Predator film that's in the Tarantino universe.
Oh, that would make sense.
Oh, I'd love to see how they tie it together. Did any of you happen to pick up Predator, the comic?
Yes.
Ed Brisson. Oh, this is fun.
It is
cool.
I really enjoyed this. Just getting into all the Predator movies and grabbing that book. It's a great setup for a story. And if you enjoyed, I would say if you enjoyed Prey, the first two Predators, I would check it out. It's definitely worth spending some cash on.
Yeah. I see your comment. We don't read the chat, Josh. No, but it's funny because there's this stuff in the there's like a credit animation. There's not a end credit scene. It's just like through the animation of it. Like it tells you how to do that. Man Cave Theater. I would also love to see Donnie Cates tackle a Predator story.
Ooh, that would be good.
Yes.
Big fan of Cates here in the podcast. All of us really. Okay. I think I've taken up enough of your time with Predator stuff.
I could talk Predator all day, man.
Let's toss it back to Clay. What else you got since
I checked out Stranger Things 4, the first episode. I love Stranger Things. I love that world. I love just going back to the 80s and the music. The new character they introduced, Eddie, is fucking fantastic. But I love that they knew the social groups pretty well of the way they were. But I didn't have a social group that was like the D&D nerds and the heavy metal nerds. They didn't really intertwine like they do in this. They were kind of separate. And man, if there was a D&D club at my school, fuck, I would have joined it. But there were just not that. There was not a massive group of nerds that I grew up with. So it's
because we don't have basements in Texas.
That is a good point. Yeah,
but they kind of bring up the satanic panic, which is great. I mean, that whole time period is I'm just so fond of. So I love watching the kids that get to act in that arena and seeing 11 grow up and adapt to what Joyce wears. Like she doesn't know how to dress like a girl, so she just dresses like Joyce does. And so Winona Ryder, who is just wearing flannel and just looking like a mom who's working at home, is so great to see. I love the little touches. And Lucas, who's trying to like break out of the group. I've always thought of Lucas as like the Warren Worthington III of this. You know, he's the angel. He's the kid who has the good family and money and everything. And he's part of this nerdy group, but he doesn't want to be, you know, like he's trying to find his out. And they bring back Erica, Lucas's little sister, who is if it wasn't for Eddie, she's the star of the first episode. I mean, they do a great D&D basketball side-by-side storyline where the kids are playing D&D. Lucas is playing on the basketball team, and they're comparing the two of what it's like to play and what a clutch game is like to roll that 20 and get the kill at the end or sink the game-winning three-pointer. They directed the first episode so well. The thing that concerns me is every episode is like a movie because it's over an hour. So you've got to dedicate time to it. So our new regiment is Sandman episode and Stranger Things episode, and just playing those two worlds. And then when we're done, I love it. It's so much fun.
Nice. That's awesome.
Any of you guys watch Stranger Things?
I watched the first 3 seasons, but I just haven't gotten around to this 4th one.
Okay.
I just watched the first season, and it was funny. My wife, brother, and I were hanging out yesterday, and he also asked us the same question. And my wife and I have only seen season 1. So we've got to watch the rest. But it's, again, that kind of show that we're going to probably watch with our daughter, because she's old enough now. So.
Oh, yeah. She's the same age as the kids in season 4. So.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, you got one more thing, Claire?
I did watch Hellstrom, so you guys don't have to.
Thanks.
Hulu.
You're a good man, Clay.
Hulu has all 10 episodes.
It's funny. Every time I finish something on Hulu, it tries to make me watch Hellstrom. Like that's what it like. It says it'll start playing next.
It's not good, but it's not bad. I will tell you this: for 10 episodes, they do a show the equivalent of a mid-range Supernatural episode. You know, it's okay. The only real ties to the Marvel Universe are they reference Roxxon.
Oh,
that's it. So the only other cool fact I found is because they shoot so much of it in a mental hospital, that was a mental hospital also used on Arrow and also used in Supernatural.
Oh.
So, but the actors are fucking, that's the best part. Okay. I'm going to go through the good things. First, produced by Blair Butler. So if you watched G4, she was always the comic correspondent. She knows her shit. I was always a big fan. So if I would love to see these characters come back. I mean, I want to see a supernatural Marvel universe that has these characters. The actor that plays Damien Hellstrom, great. I loved him. You know, another British actor pulling off an American accent. The sister, who they just call Anna instead of Satana.
Oh.
She's great, but the wild ass thing I learned is she's Jack Lemmon's granddaughter. Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
And it's weird because they dress her like when I remember reading John Byrne's Superman, and John Byrne's wife was like a fashion designer. So Lois Lane was always wearing like current fashions and different clothes than typical people in the Marvel universe. So does Anna Hellstrom in this. She just has a different look and she stands out in a lot of scenes. They do give her garbage dialogue at times, but she's pretty fucking awesome. I mean, like, I kind of like those two. At times their characters have to, you know, get at each other. But the whole first season is kind of dealing with the fact that their mom is crazy. The actress that plays the mom is incredible because she has to pull off this possession and play their mom and play their younger mom. And she's incredible. Like, she does this. She does a couple of evil looks that just kind of catch you off guard. Now, this is a show I put on in the background, but I would find myself kind of going to it every now and again when they would have good moments. They have characters called the Keepers that are supposed to oversee certain things, and they're good characters. And if they ever port these over to the MCU, bring this cast because it was awesome. I know in the comics, Damien Hellstrom's father is a demon who pretends to be the devil. He's not actually Satan. He's just a demon. This is where they missed big time because they don't show you who plays the father until the last episode, and it's Mitch Pileggi from X-Files, who was the big boss on X-Files.
Yeah.
He has one scene that he just destroys. He's so good at it. But yeah, the show even gave me X-Files vibes, you know, just the tone and colors of a lot of stuff. But yeah, some of the Satanist type stuff they do works okay. But again, they do it like a formula TV show. So it's just kind of, you know, routine stuff. I will say the opening is kind of supposed to tell you the story, and it does a pretty decent job. I kind of loved the opening after seeing it play over and over again because it's all done crudely, like children's drawings of what kids look like growing up and what they went through, because the demon that possesses their father killed, like, he was a serial killer. So the kids have grown up knowing their dad was a serial killer, but realistically he was possessed by this demon. And so they have to pursue this weapon to kill him. And when they get the weapon, they have to go through all the deaths that their dad had committed and feel all that. Yeah. So kick this off. The music plays well with it.
That sounds cool. Yeah, I don't want to share the sound because I don't want to get us.
Oh yeah, it would rip us down.
Yeah,
Sydney Lemon, Elizabeth Marvel, best actress in the show.
I like it. This is giving me Babadook vibes with the drawings. Really, that looks insane. I hate it already.
Yeah,
there's Blair Butler.
Yeah, that's so cool. I might put this on. I don't know. There's so much good TV out that I really like. If you don't hook me with sorry, I know we're about to move on to you, Josh, but I'll throw in one thing because I thought Clay told us to watch The Resort, not The Rehearsal. So I watched the first episode of The Resort,
which I also want to see. It looks good. I mean, is it good?
It's fine. It just didn't like really hook. Like it didn't hook me enough to like. It's only 5 episodes and they're all very short. So I should have I will get to it because I have Peacock, but yeah. Sorry, Josh. Go ahead though. I just want to throw. But there's so much that like I want to like what I'm watching. I want it to be really good. Otherwise, like there's no room in my schedule for you.
Right. And I infamously do not have time to watch stuff. Right.
Yeah, Josh hasn't even watched Ms. Marvel.
I haven't. And it's I haven't finished Moon Knight. It's exacerbated by the fact that I'm trying to get my family to watch it, and they have even less time.
You better hurry up because a She-Hulk's coming out this week, buddy.
I know, God, I know, and I'm so excited for it. We could probably watch that at dinner, right? If they keep the episodes short, I think we could throw that.
It seems like they will be short, yeah.
So, turning to comics, I read a buttload over the past month, and here's just a smattering. First off, I just want to give huge props to Superman Space Age. And everyone knows I'm a huge Mike Allred fan, but what else has Mark Russell written?
He did the Flintstones. He did the Snagglepuss.
Gotcha. Okay.
Those Ahoy books. I'm trying to remember the Second Coming.
Second Coming.
Okay. Because I had not read him before, although I heard about his work, like on Snagglepuss and the Flintstones. This book is I would say it's not an amazing conceit, but what I find fascinating is when you, I went in totally cold. I only knew the title and it was drawn by Allred. I would say for about the first half of it, and not all robots. For about the first half of it, you think you're going to get one of these amazing Superman stories, and it's really, really good. I mean, it reads like a beautiful, touching Superman story, and then I don't want to say it takes a turn because it builds it up well, but by the end of the first issue, it's much more like New Frontier.
Yeah,
like you realize you're getting an alternate history of the origins of the DC Silver Age.
Yeah.
And that I was not anticipating. And I don't think it harms at all the Superman story it's telling. It's all tied together really, really well. I loved it. And I also want to give credit to the fact that this pulls off a thing where, first off, seeing Clark and Lois's relationship develop feels very natural and very organic, which I think is hard to do in 2022. And equally hard to do is to present Lex Luthor as a villain that can still surprise you. Yeah. And they do it here as well.
Oh,
it's a solid book. Like, and it's the kind of book that I would.
It has some humor. Like, it definitely has some humor. It's not. That's not the tone of the book, I would say.
It's not. No,
Russell's book usually had a little bit of humor, but he also did the Wonder Twins.
Yeah,
right. I would say, I mean, there were never moments that made me laugh out loud, but there are lighthearted moments, I guess, if that makes sense. It's fantastic. Highly, highly, highly recommend this book, which I probably would have done just for the Allred art alone. Yeah. So
I was not aware it was a 90-page book. Yeah, so when I was doing the review, I was reading it for the review. DC it's just a PDF on their file on their server, right? So I was reading it and I kept going and I was like, I was enjoying the book, but I was like, holy shit, I've swiped so many times. How long is this thing? So I didn't realize they were gonna make 3 books that are like 90 pages. Instead of the single issue. I thought it was just gonna be a single issue, but it's very much worth it. The Allreds do beautiful interior work.
Yeah.
And the story.
Laura's coloring is just beautiful, but it always is. So
it's so much fun. I highly recommend it. It's probably gonna end up being one of the. I mean, I can already tell you this is gonna be probably in like Superman to read list, like in the future.
That was. I mean, I was only halfway through it, and I started thinking that right because they were just. Again, no, that's true. That's true. Which is kind of my problem now buying stuff week to week is that like I'm going to have to buy the Batman 89 collection because I love that book and it spans across my shift from reading digitally to buying every week. So now something else to mix it up a bit. To your point, Chili, in the thing, 8 billion genies. My God, this book just keeps getting
so good.
Great. And what I find fascinating is when I think about Image books that we know have already been optioned, like I Hate This Place, which I also love, right? There are only 3 issues in. It's been optioned already to be turned into, I think, a prestige TV series. I could totally see this being turned into something, right? Now, it will be CGI heavy. It would have to be. But this book is fun as hell. It is so great. So cool. I love 8 Billion Genies.
Who's the writer?
I'm sorry?
Who's the writer?
Charles Soule.
Charles Soule and Ryan
Brown. Yeah, so they did curse words for Image prior.
Ryan Brown did...
I Hate Astronauts.
I Hate Astronauts. Yeah, that was it.
And Charles Soule's doing everything Star Wars. So,
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, he's at the helm of like, the books and comics. What's that?
Wasn't he doing the Old Republic books?
He's doing the High Republic stuff. Doing and he's also doing the Crimson Dawn stuff that's happening right now in the comics. Yeah,
Isn't he a consultant now too?
Yeah, he's pretty much for all the books and comics, he's right there at the. I don't want to say he's the Filoni of that, but pretty much probably
the Filoni of that. I also want to give props to this for the fact that there is in this issue in particular. So if you've been reading it up to this point, kind of issues 1 through 3 take very they're very stretched out moments in time, right? So I think like. Issue 1 is like the first 24 hours, if that's right, and then issue 2 is like the first.
One of the first 8 minutes, then the first
8 minutes. Thank you.
The first 8 minutes, the first 8 days, the first 8 weeks. This one, I think, is the first. Then we know we to the first 8 months.
Right. This is the first 8 weeks, but it really begins expanding the time frame. So you see what's happening. And you always have the ticker of how many people are left on Earth and how many genies are left, right? Yeah. But there is a reveal in this that was just like I felt like I got kicked in the nuts when it hit you. And it was again. Oh, such a good.
I feel like I'm missing out. I need to get.
I'll show you your review copies, Clay.
There you go. Yeah. Please keep reading Guilt. GILT. If you're not reading it, that is still kind of like 8 Billion Genies and I Hate This Place. My absolute favorite kind of indie titles right now. I don't know if Image is still indie, but yeah, that's 2. I've got a few more, but I can pass it on.
I just want to show you guys some of the stuff I got for the week. A bunch of these I already did reviews for, so if you want a full spiel, you can find that on the channel. My favorite thing this week, Samurai Doggy from Aftershock.
I wanted to get that.
It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a dog that becomes a samurai because of comic book nonsense. It's so much fun. I will say, if you're a dog owner, the first few pages have a bit of dog violence.
No.
So be advised. But other than that,
thanks for the warning.
Yeah, no, that's but like the art is beautiful. It just looks so cool.
That's cool.
Like yeah, it's so much fun. It's just fun, dude. Like yeah, and you can see the full review on the channel. The other thing I want to pimp out because I'm really enjoying it. I know we talk about big Marvel crossover events, but Judgment Day, it's the best thing they've done in a long, long time. It is so good.
Interesting.
Karen Gillan, like so the premise of this for those that may not know, um, the Eternals, their whole mission is to correct deviations, right? Excess deviations to eliminate the deviants. Now that the X-Men or the mutants have found immortality through their process that we as we've seen in House of X and Powers of 10, they've realized that they are an excess deviation, so they have to be corrected. So the Eternals now
Wow.
they believe they have to get rid of the mutants. So I recommend you read the Eternals run by Karen Gillan. That'll
Okay.
give a lot of context in that because there's a thing that happens there that's also kind of fueling them. And then the Avengers kind of caught in the middle of this because they live on Earth. So like, Earth is the realm of the Eternals because that's the whole machine. It's if you've seen the movie, you kind of know a little bit more about that. I think it's a good. Watching the movie before reading Karen Gillan's run really helped me just understand the higher level concepts of the Eternals.
Okay.
Yeah, the book is really good. It's not going well for the mutants. So really,
Are you getting? Oh, sorry. Are you getting a sense they're maybe using this to reset that Hickman universe?
Maybe I don't. I mean, I'm gonna say no, just based on what happened on the second issue this week.
Okay.
Also, yes, I would love that movie as well. If that, oh man, that'd be a strong way to introduce the mutants to the
mutants.
Marvel universe.
Eternals 2, Mutant Boogaloo.
Yeah. Real quick, the third Deceased book is out. DC's putting out. This is called the body bag variant because it's polybag.
Wow! Oh my God, DC!
It's
Jesus.
such nonsense, but I love it. You guys know I love
It's
it.
such nonsense.
Harley Quinn is celebrating 30 years this year, so they're doing these homage covers.
I have loved every one of these covers, and I've almost bought every one of these.
The first one from prior is the Detective Comics 27.
It's the first Batman,
or maybe it's Batman number one. Maybe it's Batman number one.
I think it is Batman number one because Robin appears in Batman 1. So
this is the other Deceased cover I got. I love when they do the little.
Oh, that's nice. Like
cover here, so like you get the reveal. So really, really fun stuff. It's also summertime, so DC's doing their swimsuit variants. So Wonder Woman was out this week. I think Nightwing is out next week.
Nightwing's next week. Yeah, I just saw it.
Picking up a few of those. And then I'm just gonna show a few more things that I really liked. The Deadliest Bouquet from Image Comics. Really, really cool stuff. This was a Kickstarter that I got last year, but now it's out in public form. It's by Erica Schultz. And then I got some variant covers from two of my favorite artists here. This one's by Liana Kangas, and the other one is by Natalia Altarisi, who did Even. So, nice. And then the last thing I'll show, because there's too many of them, Tom King and Elsa Charretier have a new book called Love Everlasting. Yeah, that's funny. That's the one cover I didn't pick up.
Oh, really? This was the only cover I picked up.
It's their whole take on romance books and romance comics, but also they have too many covers, so obviously I had to grab a bunch of them.
Yeah,
really cool stuff. I love this Clayman cover.
I almost got that one. That was I was waffling between which one to get.
The Tula Lotte cover. Also, I love her work as well. And then, of course, Mitch Garrett's had a cover as well. So,
I think. Oh, okay. I was trying to see who did this cover. I got
yours is Jenny Frison, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got a bunch of comics. There's a whole more stuff, but go check out the channel. I did a bunch of reviews. I've been lucky enough to have time to read a bunch of stuff. There was a lot of DC books I read this week. Yeah, go check those out. But I'll throw it back to you, Clay. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about some of the comics you read.
I finally got to go through Jock's
Nice.
One Dark Night.
I love it. I love it.
It is just an action-packed book. I think you're cheating yourself if you get it digitally.
Yeah,
interesting.
I had to get the Bill Sienkiewicz.
yes.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's Jock doing Batman, cityscapes of Gotham. The whole story is a prisoner transfer from Arkham Asylum to Blackgate.
Yep.
Just across Gotham in the middle of the day. And of course, Batman's overseeing it and it goes wrong. And what happens? You've got Commissioner Gordon and maybe a bad guy inside the GCPD.
Yeah, I pitch it as the movie 16 Blocks.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, just Batman has to get this dude from one place to the other, but it's the summer. It's hot. There's a blackout citywide, so like shenanigans happen. Anytime
I'm sorry.
Anytime Jacques draws anything in the sewers, like there's no like other artists need to stop drawing sewers and Batman if they're not Jacques.
I mean,
it is so good.
It's just like I want to that kind of stuff,
dude. It's amazing. I mean, this is Eisner winner, Jacques, right? So
I would love to see that. This comes across like a John Wick Batman movie because it is just action packed from beginning to end.
Especially that third issue. The third issue gets Super Wick.
Super
Wick. Sorry.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. I'm also reading Scotty Young's Twig.
Yes,
I love Twig. Twig's great.
Twig is kind of a fantasy story. I would put it in the same arena as Bone.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And just fantastic art. I mean, and I love Scotty Young for his art, but his stories are, like I've said, every episode is the mythology he's creating and the stories he tells are fantastic. I think it's Kyle Strawn who does all the art, and it's so great.
So good. Yeah. The thing I also like about Twig is they have this great way where through kind of like montage double page spreads, you get a sense of the extensive travel they're doing across this world. But then it always focuses in on these like immediate intimate moments, right? As like driving the story. Well, it's really good. It's definitely going to be in the list of books I'll hand to any kid if they say they want to read a comic.
The main character and his little helper thing, it's so adorable. Like they're just so cool. Like you immediately are endeared to like what they're trying to do and all that. So it has a little bit of fantasy aspects. Like it reminds me of like a little bit of like D&D shenanigans with like having to carry out a mission. And, so
Hobbit,
for sure. What else, Clay?
I ran into Josh while I was going to Half Price Books.
That was so awesome.
I never leave the house. Huh?
This was unplanned?
Unplanned?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Cool.
We had stopped by there, my daughter and I, before going to see Thor because we had time to kill. And as we were walking out, Clay and his wife were walking in. So
I had just left my back therapy, and so she's like, "Do you want to stop by Half Price Books?" And like, I can't do stand for a long time because of my back and stuff. So I love and I miss just hunting for books. So I just got to go and pick up a lot of stuff that I've been missing to fill up. Like
the engorged man thing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like I mean
Zdarsky's
I got a couple of Zdarsky's, Howard the Duck, and the Ty Templeton run.
Nice.
Got the great MODOK cover. It was just like this. This was one Luke Cage I was missing. I just filled out like a lot of my collection. So a lot of this was just to finish off collections of runs I had. And I just love that so much. I miss it. She had gotten me a bunch of stuff from her store in Rockwall. She works at Half Price Books. So she always gets to see the cool shit that comes in, and so someone brought in a ton of really great looking volume 1 Alpha Flights that I was missing. So I was able to put together some of the back end of the runs and bag and board them. I'm missing like 25 issues. It's like the collecting part is the part I miss and love. And going through those old issues, you know, the Marvel bullpen stuff, they would do Marvel profiles. There's like a Dwayne McDuffie profile in there I loved seeing, and just the stuff that they used to do in that time period. Like, what's even cooler is going through the old letter columns and looking for people who now are writers. You know, sometimes you'll find a Kurt Busiek letter. But then even then, they would even post the negative comments. Like there's an Alpha Flight letter where the guy's like, I can't believe I paid for this. Like he's just such a hater. Like he didn't have the internet at the time to yell, so he's writing Marvel. And they just reply, funny, our sales are just going to go up. So had been going up. So we're just going to keep selling these books.
That's awesome.
So
yeah, you know. Oh, go ahead, Daniel.
No, go ahead, Josh, because I'm going to pivot to something real quick.
Okay, well, I was going to say that's the thing I've really been loving about the recent, seemingly random facsimile reprints Marvel's been doing. Is I just like to flip through to see what were the ads, what were the letters and stuff like that. I mean, they do a really good job of like cleaning all that stuff up, but preserving it, keeping it in there, right?
So
yeah, I'm glad they don't change it. I wonder if they get paid again for the ad.
Oh God, I mean, how much of the stuff in those ads are still in business? It's like almost all of them are probably gone.
Blockbuster ad hasn't aged very well.
No. This is stuff from like the Silver Age. So it's like, hey kids, sell grit. You know, I mean, it's not.
I love grit.
Great. Well, since Clay brought up Chip Zdarsky, I had a fun interaction this week, and I think I share that with you guys. But I'm part of the KLC Press Substack. One of the things that happens is that you get to sometimes jump on streams with them. And this week they announced their year 2 stuff. So they had Chip Zdarsky on because sometimes he will hop on Ryan Stegman streams and just kind of like talk about that. So I was on the chat and I got to ask the Batman writer a question. We were kind of joking around. I do want to wait till Clay gets back fully, but if you haven't checked out KLC Press, go check out their Substack. It's really fun stuff. Vanish is coming in September. So let me just play real quick the video of them asking my question. This will make more sense, I guess, if you're reading the current Batman, but if not, but just the reaction's really cool.
All right, this is from the Next Issue podcast. Chip, have you ever considered writing a Batman story where a robot is trying to kill him?
Like, I'm a guest. I don't. This was supposed to be a serious stream about serious details about our serious subscription model. I'm writing Batman. It's the top book in the industry. People need to start treating me with some fucking respect.
This is from the Next Issue podcast.
Okay.
You need to have some more pros on so that they yell that at us.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
For those that don't know, what I asked is the current plot line of the ongoing Batman. So people were just asking stuff like that. It is really funny. Anytime Chip hops onto those things, it's really funny. He has a really fun interaction. So yeah, really fun stuff. But sorry I derailed everything, but it was a good place to bring
I've got a great segue. So
okay, cool.
Last few books I've been reading I want to talk about. I picked up Detective Comics 1062 because it has a new team on it, and you can't pass up this cover. I mean, come on. This book is amazing. I'm really, really excited to read. It's, it's funny because I know, Daniel, you hear me bitch a lot about, like, when the other jumping on point was Batman, I forget the issue number, but I didn't care for it. It seemed to...
the previous run. Yep.
Yeah, it just seemed to be referencing a lot of what had come before. I was very confused, as I usually get, because I don't read a lot of, like, Batman. This is a fantastic jumping on point. You really don't need to know much. And the story is compelling. The art is great. The writing is great. And honestly, I will read anything that has the word, Nocturne in the title. So just, if you call something Gotham Nocturne, I'm there. So anyway, really, really good book. Written by
it's by Ramby, who was writing Swamp Thing. He did Layla Starr, The Many Deaths of Layla Starr. Great horror writer. So this is definitely a gothic horror vibes book. This storyline, and then artist by Rafael Albuquerque, who's an amazing artist. He can really get those. He could get really dark, and a lot of those things. So it's very, very cool. Really interesting premise. I'm very excited. I like what they've been doing with Detective Comics, where every time they bring in a new creator team, they kind of reset to anybody can just start reading this. Like they did the same with Mariko Tamaki when Mariko was on the book. So I've been really enjoying that. So you don't have to keep buying Detective Comics every month like I do. You can just buy the stories that you want and go from there.
Which I guess is okay, but it does kind of go against my whole just give me monthly stories, right? Just let me read Detective Comics and there's going to be some consistency maybe over a couple years of writer and artist and storyline and stuff like that. But conversely, as you're saying, if I were a kid and I saw this on the shelf and I'm like, I want to read that Batman, you can jump in, right? So it is a good jumping on point, genuinely good jumping on point.
Yeah.
I'm doing the criticism sandwich. So we go from something I really liked and applaud to something I really disliked.
Oh, no.
I wanted to like this book so much. I mean, come on, it's got America Chavez in it. Doctor Strange, and it's written by Al Ewing and Javier Rodriguez, right? Here's what bugged me about this book. First off, this
bugged you.
Well, that I'll get to that. This is not a good jumping on point. It's not. Right? It just Defenders Beyond #1. It's a #1. Hopefully, no. I had no clue what was going on. I didn't know half the characters. I was very confused. But I just want to put a plead out there to Marvel. Marvel, if you're going to hire writers who are going to provide you with a shock twist appearance on the last page, maybe don't let your guest artists put them on the fucking covers of the alt covers. Because I'm sitting there in the store and I'm like, oh, this is a cool cover. And then I look slightly to the right and I'm like, hey, that alt cover has X on it. Oh, I bet that spoiled something. And they even listed it as spoiler cover. I'm like, what good does that do? Polybag it, motherfuckers. Come on. Jesus Christ. It really made me so mad because I think I would have liked the book more if I had genuinely gotten to experience that twist.
I think our first podcast shirt is going to be Polybag it, motherfuckers.
Polybag it, motherfucker.
It just made me so angry. And
I saw that cover. I know what you're talking about.
Right. I'm doing a better job not revealing the twist than Marvel did officially.
Because my comic shop, my Josh at my comic shop, he was just like, now this is a great book, but you don't want to see this cover.
Right. Yeah, and honestly, don't and I haven't seen them say this. I could see them saying this. Don't feed me some BS about, well, it's the shop's job to, maybe display it in a way it doesn't do it. No, I'm sorry. The shop I go to very intentionally shows you every alt cover so you get to pick which one you want, right? So that's not on them. That's just them fulfilling the fans' desires and needs because everyone keeps producing all these alt covers. So, or don't do an alt cover then. It made me so mad, so mad to the point where I'm not going to read the rest. I'm sorry, Ewing and Rodriguez. I know you guys are working hard on it, but man, I can only imagine how pissed off they were.
I think you at least definitely needed to read their previous Defenders run.
Okay.
That's probably part of it because that's kind of where a lot of, for also Doc Strange is around, Doc Strange is dead.
He's just a floating head. Yeah,
we all read him die in the other book. So like, what's happening? So it's very confusing for sure. Yeah, that was a tough one. I got excited because I'm a what they call a mark for these moments of like, oh, cool, that character from a long time ago. So, I will
You're
say,
a mark.
Rodriguez's reveal, like the art for his reveal, is really cool.
Yeah. It is. It's a solid reveal in the book that they ruined.
Yeah. Maybe I don't know. My shop was maybe out of that variant cover, so I didn't get to see it till.
Oh, that's smart.
I'm surprised I didn't run into it. Usually when I put together like assets for the reviews, like they have all the. I do want to say, Bleeding Cool has a really good section of like where they do their I know, but their previews are really well done. They have all the assets I need, so they're very helpful when I'm looking for pictures and stuff. Very high definition stuff instead of me googling around. So they get a cute.
Then it's worth taking.
Yeah, so but that's because it's well done. It's well done. It's just facts. They're not embellishing anything. This is just what Marvel's giving them. Which Marvel, give us the previews. I'll do the same thing. I'll put it out. I already make so many videos in the Marvel reviews. They do such great numbers on our channel. Just reach out to us. Actually, when we get to 800, I'll reach back out to you again. Which should be very close. Every 100 subscribers. Every 100 subscribers, I send them another email like, look, we are bigger now. Look how much. Anyways. So yeah, tweet at Marvel to send those review copies.
Very cool. Yeah, I'll push him for it and to not fuck up the surprises. So good, bad.
That's our hashtag.
Polybag it, motherfuckers. Let's end on good. Dark Horse's Survival Street.
Yes. Holy
this
shit.
Was fantastic. So fantastic. So it's written by James Asmus and Jim Festanti. Art by I'm going to mess up this name. I apologize.
I already did in the video. Don't worry.
Abelay Kusayanov. I'm going to kind of go with the basic conceit. The conceit is set up on the very first page. It's all you have to know. The conceit is basically 2025. The Supreme Court presumptively allows or extends the idea that businesses are people to allow them to run for political office. 2026, you get the first businesses running for political office. By 2028, effectively, business entities are politicians. And you can see the change in the flag, right? The stars go from stars to logos. So the basic idea here is that a Sesame Street type show on a PBS type station gets shut down under this new regime. And then you jump ahead to the future where they have become anarchist outlaws. And they are taking down the powers that be. And it is just a fun read. It is great seeing how each of the characters has little callbacks to what they were like they're basically sentient puppets, right? They're not operated by people. They operate on their own, but they're still puppets. And so there are little callbacks to what they were like before, but what they are now. One character is completely suffering from PTSD. I mean, it gets intense, but it is absolutely perfect satire. And between this and Justice Street, I'm really, really intrigued by comic creators just going hard-nosed into contemporary political satire in really, really amazing ways. So
that's a great cover.
Did I say Justice Street? I'm sorry, Justice League, I think it is. It's an Ahoy book that I talked about a few weeks back. So anyway, Daniel, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I think one of there's also a lot of twists and turns with the story. Not everything is what it seems, so that's really cool. I was really happy to see that. I was really happy to read that book. I really, really enjoyed it. When you brought up Dark Horse, I thought you were going to mention the other Dark Horse book that's on your list, the Frankenstein one.
Oh, shit. I did need to. Yeah. Hang on.
I was like, I read that one too, but I didn't know that was a continuation of the previous Frankenstein series.
I hope that they, at least in this puppet book, do some version of like a Sesame Street type character, so that you see like Big Bird fuck somebody up and characters riding
here.
in on
Let me
their mission. Yeah, here. Let me.
So there's a big hippo guy basically slamming an oxygen tank on a guard. So yeah, you totally get that.
Their mission's still to educate the children of this country.
It is. It's so good.
That is their like, even though they're anarchists, their mission's still that. So it's really fun. Yeah. Clay,
okay. Well,
you really enjoyed the book.
Yeah, I want to go back, to what you're saying. So I read issue 1 of Frankenstein New World, and I'm speaking about being a mark. You give me anything that says from the world of Hellboy, and it looks like a Mike Mignola cover. And I have not read that much Hellboy, by the way, but I will pick it up because I love that tone. I love that kind of world setting.
Yeah.
Frankenstein New World, I did not know it was a sequel to anything, so I'm glad you said that. But B, I went into it completely cold, and I loved it.
Oh, me too.
Okay, all right. I really dug it. It has this great concept where basically Frankenstein's monster is in, I guess, like the center of the earth, where a whole new world is being built, and he and a young girl basically leave the world to go out because he comes back to life. He's like their deity, effectively. It was a really compelling story, and the art was beautiful. And so it was kind of the first, because I've been reading the British Paranormal Society, and until the most recent issue, it was kind of boring. It was like, I've seen this story before. I don't get it. And then the end of the most recent issue, it takes a twist that I was not expecting. And I was like, oh, I've got to read the next issue now. Right. But it took like 4 issues to get there. Yeah. This one grabbed me from the get-go. I mean, it's a really, really cool conceit. So
yeah, same here. And it didn't feel like it was a sequel to something. I only know because once
I agree.
I told my buddy Nick, like, dude, I think this is gonna make me a bigger Hellboy fan. And he's like, you're gonna be like one of the only people coming into Hellboy through Frankenstein, and a sequel to a story. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, maybe the stuff prior is like why Frankenstein was, how he got to where he is at the beginning of the book.
Yeah.
And I'm also a big mark for Mignola. Like, I love his covers, and anytime he has a variant, like, I'll most likely grab it. So yeah, really, I wish Dark Horse would also send the stuff. I've reached out to them before because there's so many other books that I want to check out, but once I'm at the shop with like 20 things on my hand, like I can't always make the effort to grab that extra thing, right? So
What was wild was those Alpha Flights that I picked up. They were in the volume 1 issues, like 50 through 80. Mike Mignola did a bunch of the covers, and in fact, Jim Lee's first Marvel book is Alpha Flight, like 51 or 52. That's in that bunch. But
wow.
Mike Mignola doing Alpha Flight covers.
Yeah. All right.
I bet he draws. Who's the short, stout guy?
Puck.
I bet he draws Puck well.
Everything well.
Sure.
We're at the 2-hour mark. So, is there any one last thing you guys wanted to throw in? If not, I mean, we can save it for next week or next show.
Save it for next week. We're good.
I'm done.
I know you had some questions too, Clay, and you wanted us to see a trailer.
I just dropped some things in there if we had time, so we can always push it to. Well, the one thing is, Mystery Science Theater is this Friday showing The Batwoman. I know it was one of my teases a few months ago, but they do have a trailer out. Maybe we'll just tweet the trailer out, and that's going to be this Friday at the Gizmoplex, which is online, and you can just buy the one movie if you want to. But The Batwoman is batshit. It's just a crazy adaptation of this woman who wears a bikini and the bat cowl and fights crime.
And they've done that one before, right? But was that under Mike that they did it, not Joel?
Yeah, that was a different one. So, this will be a brand new Batwoman.
Nice.
Cool. All right. Well, let's really quickly hit recommendations. Just if you have one ready. I think you guys have one here. I'll do. You guys do yours first because I think you both have a similar thing.
Okay. I will talk about. I found Josh gave me one of his old gaming computers, and I'm still using my other computer. So I have these two.
What did you find?
I reset it. He doesn't want that stuff. Trust me.
I found the greatest app to go between because I'm running like 3 monitors and 2 separate computers, but with just one keyboard and mouse. Microsoft has a product called Mouse Without Borders that basically, if you're on the same network, you can share a key code and switch between both. So I basically run 2 computers on 3 monitors, but I can use the keyboard and mouse across all 3. It just looks at it like another screen. So I've been able to toggle and do everything, and it's free. So if you ever had that kind of scenario in your house where you're running separate computers, but you need one keyboard and mouse.
I have that scenario right now. I'm running the show on one computer and I'm recording and I'm using it too. Okay, that's helpful. I'm gonna take you up on that recommendation.
Yeah, the link will be in the show notes. The second thing is Josh got me a subscription to Scribed, which has.
Here, I'll share my screen for you. Hang on.
Yeah.
It's like a library, but better. It's got audiobooks, it's got ebooks, it's got documents. I listened to Joe Pera's new book on it recently. It was fantastic. But the thing that's benefited me the most, and I'm just going to get kind of heavy here for a second, is that I've been dealing with Agent Orange poisoning that my dad got while he was in Vietnam. So I was born with some birth defects and some health issues. They've accelerated in the past few years. And so I've been researching Agent Orange. The document side of Scribed has helped me tons. There was a guy who had done a ton of research and he had it on a website that is now no longer active, but he uploaded all the documents here for free. So as I've searched for Agent Orange background, I found all kinds of documents, all kinds of government history of poisonings, cover-ups, all kinds of things that have helped me put this thing together that I'm doing a write-up that people just aren't aware of. I mean, my back has been so debilitated that I'm obviously sitting way back in a chair. I can't travel a lot because of Agent Orange poisoning. The documents I found in there are fantastic, like just unbelievable, the things that have happened over the past 50 years. And I know we recently passed the PACT Act that Jon Stewart was pushing. That's just to cover Agent Orange people who were in Vietnam. So many have died since the 70s that, those people just died without health care. This Scribed app has been so helpful to me just for that personal research. I will do a write-up and it'll be on my blog soon of just the history of it. And I mean, I can't thank Josh enough for it because I was just going to read comics and shit, but
right.
I've been finding government documents and all sorts of things that people have been putting together to research. This is better than the library because there's stuff that I searched Google that I haven't been able to find, but I found on Scribed.
That's awesome.
So cool. I think access and accessibility is very important, and I think something like this is it looks like it's doing that part of it very well. So
yeah,
awesome.
And that was sort of my experience with Scribed years and years and years ago was it was a document repository, right? People uploaded documents. I would go there for scholarly stuff that was often hard to find in repositories or what have you, hoping somebody had posted it. I went back here a couple months ago for that exact same purpose. I was trying to find something for research. And when I came out of the site, I was like, what is all this? Because it used to just be documents. So now it's like ebooks and audiobooks and articles and magazines and even sheet music. And I was like, what is going on? And so, they offered like a 1-week free premium subscription. I'm like, all right, I'll try it. Immediately fell in love. I was like, now it's my go-to place where if I see a book I want to read, I go here first and see if they have it as an ebook or an audiobook. If they do and you subscribe, it's just there for you. And you can download documents and stuff as well. Then what really sold me on it, I was already sold. And then what really sold me on it was I was kind of going through all this stuff. Let's see if it's on this page. And with your Scribe subscription, they also have perks. Well, the perks include things like TuneIn Radio Premium for free. It's just included. So you get ad-free streaming radio from all over the world, including things like CNN and, MSNBC and all that stuff. And you get Con TV, which is, I'll be honest, not super great, but they do have comics on there. They have, a lot of like B movies and then some like, convention stuff. That's all included with your premium subscription to Scribe. So it was weird for me because Scribe immediately became this thing where I'm like, I can't not live with this, right? and then I thought of Clay, and I was like, I'm going to get Clay a subscription because he would love this, So
it's a life changer. Like that's how important this thing has been. It's a life changer, but not to be so heavy on that stuff. RPGs that are out of print, people have uploaded them into the document center. I've downloaded them as PDFs, and now it's like I could play Star Frontiers if I wanted to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I found I had held on to a really, really obscure White Wolf, kind of their black label RPG game from like 95 called HOL, HOL, which stands for Human Occupied Landfill. And I held on to it because it was out of print. It was impossible to find. And the whole thing was hand drawn and written. To the point where when they made mistakes, they just put little black squares over it and then wrote the right word. And I found free PDFs of it on Scribd. And I was like, I guess I can finally sell these now. Like I have copies I can refer to. I don't need to hold on to these 2 books because it's impossible to get them. So, yeah, well, great service. Highly recommend.
When the internet goes out, you'll regret selling your books. Very cool.
Well, even if I didn't, my glasses would fall off and break the minute I was going to sit down and read them. So,
cool. Did you go, Josh? Is this the same one?
Yeah. It was the same one.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, I have 2 recommendations. I was trying to log into our Patreon, but it's different now. We have to look into that.
I heard the layout's very different.
Yeah, it sucks. I can't find our Patreons.
Yeah, it sucks.
It sucks.
I can't find our Patrons. Okay, here we go.
Oh, this is weird.
Our list.
Sorry, I just logged in.
Because I did want to give a shout out to our patrons. So yeah, thanks to Sabrina Sarver, Mike Rappin, the I Read Comic Books podcast, and Final Neil. You guys are amazing.
Thank you so
also,
much.
Thanks to the people that were on the chat. Chili Peen, Man Cave Theater, Leonard Kim, Carlos Tapia. Thank you guys for watching live. I know my buddy CJ was also watching. He didn't comment anything, but he messaged me on Discord like, dude, you guys were making some good points about Hellstrom. I'm like, look, I haven't seen it, but Clay that photo for us.
Yeah,
it's 10 episodes. It's a day binge, or you can turn it into 2-day binge. It's got some cool body horror, but you can tell they're very limited. Like their stunts are basically the same thing. A lot of people just pulled into walls a lot.
Oh, cool. That's an easy one to do. But my recommendation, guys, pick up Batman One Bad Day, The Riddler, #1 by Tom King, Mitch Gerards. Forget all the comic books coming out this week. You have to read this one. It is fucking insane. A full review is going to be coming out Tuesday morning. First thing, I read the book. I loved it. You can see some previews of it already on the DC website. But this Batman One Bad Day thing that they're doing, if everything is as good as this, it's gonna be insane. It's gonna be insane. So yeah, make sure to check that out. The other one is a self plug. So I would, if you, as you know, I Read Comic Books podcast is a podcast I listen to, and they're also one of our patrons. But I'm also now a regular contributor to them.
Hey, congrats.
My first episode dropped this week, episode 337. I Like Unicorns, where we talk about anthropomorphic animals in comics. It was a really cool discussion. There's about 10 minutes, and I was talking about unicorns, which is why the name of the episode is that. So please go check that out. Leave us some comments. Tell them that you like me on episodes. Maybe they'll, that way they don't regret adding me onto their...
How could anyone not like you, Daniel? Yeah, exactly.
To that, so really, really fun stuff. But yeah, to our audio listeners, thank you for listening. This I know this is a long one for the audio, but thank you for listening. Make sure to
we'll do it.
Subscribe, rate, leave feedback, all that stuff. I don't know what to do with podcasts. You just subscribe and rate, right? Review.
Sure.
Yeah,
I think so.
Also,
tell your friends.
Yeah, tell your friends. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, come check us out. You can see our ugly faces on full 1080p because we've updated.
And if you have only ever listened to the audio version, I just want to go on record. I am a very handsome man. All right. So lush, full head of hair.
Yeah.
It's that's just a pitch perfect description of me.
Picture David Cross and then flip that to the opposite.
They're going to be so disappointed when they finally watch the video. Oh no, it just is David Cross. Oh.
It's Tobias, but less blue.
Yes. I haven't blew myself yet.
He does that after the shows usually. All right. Yeah. Well, I really want to try to do the polybag me motherfucker shirt. So I'll see what I can do. But thank you. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, we're 5 away from 800, so I can email Marvel again. So get us there so I have some proof. And as always, thank you for watching, guys. I should have been pulling up the closing while I was doing all that, but this I don't know how we get to the end of the show sometimes.
It's called time. It travels.
Yes. It goes from point A to point B.
Here I have to pull. Oh, here I have.
I'd sure like to fist him.
That is true.
I was looking through the list. I'm gonna have to. We didn't even talk about Warner Brothers, but I'm gonna have to remove some of these.
Good point. Yeah.
Oh, Hudsonizer, you're a little late. We're about done, but thanks for joining. I will tell you this: I'm so happy Ben Affleck will be back on the Aquaman. Although I'm not happy that we won't see Michael Keaton. But that's about it. I'm just vamping because I'm looking for the fucking outro, and other than this, I found it.
Do we need to clean that up so it?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Keep it in. Keep it all in.
Okay, cool. All right, bye everyone.
Bye.
Let's get out of
Let's
here.
ride.
Thanks everyone for watching.
Peter loves you.
Oh yeah. Clay.
Hell, Bebo.
Josh, Simonson, or get the fuck out.